Today's podcast is brought to you by Visa, with the capacity to process over 65,000 transaction messages every second. Visa's been bringing innovations to the way we pay for over 60 years. Imagine a world where, instead of just tapping to pay with your Visa, you had to wait for everyone in front of you to cut a check everywhere you went. Imagine how much fun it'd be trying to track down your cousin in Milwaukee for league dues. That's why Visa's vision is to be the best way to pay and be paid everywhere, so you won't have to. Whatever your goals are, Visa makes paying fast and easy. The only thing left to figure out is, where would you like to be? Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Hey y'all, Uncle Jimmy here. When you speak for yourself, you're forced to think for yourself. And when you think for yourself, the sports world looks different. In order to enjoy this podcast and this show, you need to have the courage to look at the world from alternative points of view and not be offended when you disagree. Speak for yourself isn't your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram feed. SFY tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So, welcome aboard, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
We start today with the Cowboys. All right, it was a great night for the well-intentioned but misguided football fans who want Jerry Jones to pay Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott more money than the Eagles paid Carson Wentz. Cowboys 37, Eagles 10. What more proof do Prescott supporters need that Dak is worth at least as much as Wentz than the fact that Wentz can seemingly never beat Dak straight up?
Yeah.
Sunday night's victory was Dallas's fourth straight over Philadelphia. Dak owns the Eagles. Last night, he owned Wentz, who threw for just 191 yards, tossed an interception, and lost 2 fumbles. Meanwhile, Dak tossed a touchdown pass, ran for another score, and completed 21 of the 27 passes he threw. Wentz and Dak were in the same draft class. Wentz is working under a new contract that pays him around $32 million a year. Dak is still on his rookie deal and is earning about $2 million this season. The Cowboys sit atop the NFC East, 1 game ahead of the Eagles. Case closed. Pay Dak. Not so fast, my friends. I saw last night as proof that Dak isn't the engine driving the Cowboys. He's a nice accessory. He's the cruise control button, a wonderful luxury on a long trip, but you can get to your destination without him. To me, the 2019 season is a story about building a complete team. We've tried to turn the NFL into a competition that is singularly about the quarterback. It's not true. The best team in the AFC, by record, is still the New England Patriots, a team being carried by its defense. The best team in football, in my opinion, is the New Orleans Saints. They've won 5 straight without the services of Drew Brees. The most interesting teams in the NFL this season are the Colts and the Panthers. Andrew Luck's retirement was supposed to sink Indianapolis. His replacement, Jacoby Brissett, has the Colts leading the AFC South. Cam Newton's injury was supposed to sink Carolina. His replacement, Kyle Allen, has won 4 straight games and may end Cam's tenure in Charlotte. I bring all this up to say the quarterback is overvalued in the NFL. The Cowboys are far better off providing Dak with a complete team rather than a completely ridiculous contract. The Cowboys won last night because their defense finally played up to its level of talent. DeMarcus Lawrence rushed the passer. Dallas's trio of linebackers shut down the run. On offense, Dallas's line controlled the line of scrimmage and opened consistent holes for Ezekiel Elliott. The Eagles have been ravaged by injuries, and Dallas took advantage. Nothing happened last night that screamed overpaid Dak Prescott the way the Eagles overpaid Wentz and the Rams overpaid Jared Goff. Why should Jerry Jones repeat the mistake the Eagles and the Rams made? Teddy Bridgewater is on a 1-year contract with the Saints. I'd pay Teddy $25 million next season before I'd pay Dak $30. Joining the desk now are Fox Sports NFL analyst Michael Vick, Hall of Fame tight end Tony Gonzalez. All right, Marcellus, I'll start with you. Did Dak prove anything last night?
That last statement made my stomach hurt. What the hell you gonna pay? You paying Teddy what?
25 over Dak 35, but go ahead.
We're gonna talk about Teddy later because if I'm Teddy, I'm tapping out right now, but that's for another conversation. You wanna know what Dak was dealing with? You wanna know the true value of him to this franchise? Flip that coin over and just think about if Dak didn't play well last night. how we would come up here with a different conversation, how the weight would feel different for him in this franchise.
And 36-10 if he had played poorly?
If he had played poorly, right. If he had played poorly, if Dak Prescott didn't answer the bell once again against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is the only team that's had success, Super Bowl success in this division, and he owns that team. So you have to look at it through that perspective. Dak Prescott, his leadership, what he means to this team, and how he doesn't hide in dark moments. He doesn't look for cover when things go wrong for this team. He becomes more inspiring. You can even see it throughout the game. Him talking to his offense, talking to his offensive line. You heard it throughout the week. We need to practice harder. We need to all collectively get into the mindset before Sunday night. So all those things are attributes, a lot of intangibles that are difficult to measure, but they always show up for a winning quarterback named Dak Prescott.
And Dak he proved last night that he's a winner. I mean, you get guys that come into this league and play the quarterback position. They may play for a year or two, and they might not win as many games as Dak. Dak has won games his first year. Second year was a little, off. Third year, playoffs. And then this year, he's 4-3. I think that's good enough for them to pay him. I think he's proven everything. I said it 2 weeks ago. Pay this man his money and let him.
Let me ask you this, though, Mike. Did you have doubts before last night's game that he was a winner?
No.
So
no.
What did he prove last night?
I
never doubted that.
But I never doubted that he couldn't win the football game. I mean, he went out and proved to me as a former quarterback, that he can win games. I've seen too many quarterbacks come and go in this league that can't win a game. And he's winning games. So, to his credit, he should get paid whatever they decide to pay him, whether it's $28 million, $30 million. I agree he shouldn't break the bank because I think he needs players around him. I think he's much better with players around him. He got Carr back yesterday and got Cooper back, and that meant a lot. So this is a guy who needs help, but yes, he can be consistent.
Yeah, but Dak is Dak. We know what we're going to get from Dak.
Yeah.
He's not going to lose you games, but he's probably not going to go win the game for you too. And I think in this day and age, with the quarterback position, with the market the way it is, Jay, I mean, you have to pay him. He's going to get $35 million plus because that is the price. Well, here's what. Let me try for an analogy here.
We're talking about Dak Prescott, and a third-year quarterback, not Tom Brady, 15-year quarterback.
But if you live in California, yesterday on the show, somebody from Louisiana, I think it was, won Terry Bradshaw's $250,000, and I was like, "Hey Terry," because he's from there. What can you buy for $250,000? What kind of house can you get? And he's like, "Oh, you'd get 18 acres and yada 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 for $250,000." Yeah, what would you get in California? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's the market. I don't care. This is the market. The quarterback position in the NFL, for better or for worse, is the next man up. He is going to get his $35 million or more. And you're gonna get from Dak. You better surround him with players if you want to be successful, Jerry. Because we've seen him when he doesn't have it. He's not as good. He's not bad, but he's not as good. And if you just go with it, you have to roll with it.
Got to roll with it.
The market can change. I mean, y'all all old enough. You remember 2008, 2007, the housing market and everything.
Yeah, I'm from LA. You know where I go.
And then the market changed and flipped, and it was a bust. And so the market on quarterbacks can change. And I'm telling you, if you look around the league, you're better off with a complete team than overpaying golf.
I agree with that.
Overpaying Wentz.
I agree with that.
I disagree with.
So why can't Dallas be like, you know what? We're going to do the smart thing. We're not going to do what Philadelphia did with Wentz, what the Rams did with Goff.
Right.
Dak is the guy, $25 to $28 million, and build around.
I disagree with those sentiments. One, Philadelphia paid Carson Wentz, and they came into the season with the most talented roster in NFL.
According to
a gang of people out there who look wrong right now. But they have talent. So let's not act like once you pay your quarterback, there's nothing left. And we know the cap is going up every year. Let me tell you what has gone wrong for a few teams, like maybe Philadelphia. They invested in the wrong individual, the wrong attributes, the wrong characteristics, because they got caught up in the tangibles. Here's why you have to invest in Dak Prescott, most importantly, because of his leadership attributes. Think about his road to success. He came in day one replacing a franchise quarterback. Whoa. That sounds easy and it sounds convenient in a sentence. That is hella difficult to do. Then, when he hits another rough patch, and he's a 3-5 team last year, they go out and get Amari Cooper, and all of a sudden they're a 10-6 team. And Dak plays well enough in the playoffs against the Rams where they should have advanced. He was let down by the running game and the defense. That said, now he's 3-3. Here comes the surging Philadelphia Eagles team. Once again, that resolve, those leadership attributes. You know why I know you invest in this guy? Because he has the second most wins since he's been a quarterback to who? Tom Brady, who's another guy who you can't invest in his tangibles, but then you realize he's going to have the resolve to replace a franchise quarterback in Drew Bledsoe and to go out there in any rough patch will always respond. That's why you pay Dak. But keep paying the guys with the big arms and see how that gets you.
Well, my pushback, and Tony's been saying it for a couple of years now, Brady's the one guy that takes less money to have more around him.
Not at first. Yeah. Brady was the highest paid quarterback. Everyone forgets that part. And then he married somebody who's got more money than all the NFL players.
Well,
so it's like,
I don't need it. I've always said to quarterbacks,
good.
If I was a quarterback, that first bite, I got to go get it. I got to eat the apple as much as I can get. And then after that, if I'm Aaron Rodgers or a guy who's Matt Ryan or somebody at the end of, towards that, after that 8th, 9th year, and I'm still playing, well, then you take less.
But Aaron's not taking less at the end.
I know, but he's not.
But Brady is.
But if I was him, I would, just so I can go win some Super Bowls. Now, if I'm Dak Prescott, at this point, I got to go get it. I'm going to get as much as I can, and he's going to get it.
Said, Jason,
he's going to get it.
I just think that you can't break the bank with Dak, though. I'll be realistic about that. You can't break the bank with him. He needs players around. That's the most important.
Have two contracts for $100 million. You were worthy. But you gonna say now somebody can't get the bank, bro?
Yeah, but
he had assets.
If I had to go back and do it all over again, I would have gave some of that money back and said, get me a receiver. I had a running back. Get a couple guys on the defensive line that's going to help this team win games.
But
not
I'm
all
defend
on me.
Mike
That's a lot of pressure too.
Okay.
Things have changed so much from when they were playing.
Yeah, there's more money. You're right.
Yes. And so, again, if Dak takes 25, he's not hurting remotely. This isn't a guy 20 years ago that was making $5 million. 25, 28 million a year.
You ever sell your house for less than you should? I haven't either.
I got one house.
Now? And you got another?
Yeah, I got
that stash house.
More. But anyway, I'm just, for Dak, man, there's a longer play to be had here in terms of being a winner with the Cowboys, all the money off the field. It's everybody can, to some degree, afford to make the decision that Brady made. Who's going
to pay him this? Jerry Jones. I was there in Dallas, and I can tell you exactly how this is playing out in Jerry's mind. He has the stark contrast of Tony Romo, a franchise quarterback who was great, who was a baller, one of the highest completion percentages and quarterback ratings of all time. Tony Romo did his thing. And then Jerry is sitting there saying, but what was the one issue that I struggled with Romo? And everyone saw it. It was leadership. And you know why? Because Tony was an undrafted free agent when I was there, 4th string on the roster, probably was going to get cut before injuries, and then had to go from being the guy who got the donuts and chicken to being the franchise quarterback. And the one thing he couldn't do immediately was delegate responsibility or dictate terms. So Romo's playing great, but he couldn't rally the troops. And that's what was their failure. Now he has someone who could rally the troops. You think he's not going to invest in that to get maximum results?
Oh, he can make that mistake, and he probably is, based on the market. I'd just try to change the market quickly. Did the Cowboys prove anything to you last night? Do they look like they may be back on a Super Bowl path?
Absolutely, and it's based on the fact that they're in the NFC. Let's just be realistic. Everyone in the NFC looks beatable at the top. I don't care who doesn't look
NFC East?
NFC, yeah. Who doesn't look
beatable? The whole NFC?
Yeah, the whole NFC. Don't say
Saints.
They already got beat. Or you can say that game was a weird one because
they get into the season, man. They got hit the leg.
And there's a team that's undefeated in the NFC that is still beatable, and the San Francisco 49ers.
Everybody's beatable, but I mean, they look pretty good.
Green Bay looks good.
There is a tier 1 of teams, and there's probably 5 of them. We were just saying the Seahawks. Oh, now maybe not the Seahawks. We weren't saying the Packers. Oh, maybe now the Packers.
Seahawks loss was a fluke, but go ahead.
There are at least 6 teams that are tier 1, and Dallas is one of those teams as well. So, yeah, to me, that's all I'm saying. Dallas is in there in that conversation to be here.
Dallas defense came to play yesterday, and that was good to see. It just got to be complimentary on both sides. The offense has to do their part. Defense does their part. That's evident, but they really showed up. the defense on the defense side of the ball.
They changed my mind. Yes, if they can have that team, they can go out there and do some damage for sure. I mean, they got the tackles was back, the offensive linemen were back.
Randall Cobb.
You got Cobb back, you got Cooper healthy, you got the running back now, got the running game going. Yeah, this could be a really good football team if they stay healthy. I still would take the Saints, and I still would take San Francisco. I think they're the fourth or fifth best team in the NFL right now. In the NFC.
But are they on different levels?
Yes. Did you?
Yeah.
And my memory's a little shaky, but
Okay.
and I'm not joking when I say this. But that Saints beat them without Drew Brees, right?
Yeah.
That was week 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
That was without Drew Brees. Beat them up physically the whole 9. Teddy Bridgewater's, I think, first start. The Saints are the class of the NFC, if not the class of football. Teams I like better than Dallas in the NFC, the Vikings, the San Francisco, Seattle. Hell, I like the Rams better than Dallas.
Packers.
Can the Cowboys beat
Carolina?
Can the Cowboys beat those teams? That's my answer.
Any given Sunday,
Right.
consistently, but I wouldn't.
That 3-game
you put
skid
money
threw
on it?
me off. That 3-game skid when they
would.
lost them last 3 games, it really threw me off in terms of Dallas after the start.
Yeah, any of those other teams, did they lose 3 straight? Any of these other teams we talking about at the top of the NFC? Hell no.
No, but it's still about consistency and playing in a consistent manner. So let's talk about the Seahawks. You see, that's your face. Okay, let's talk. Which team?
Lamar pulled some magic out of a hat. Hey, great.
The Rams lost 3 straight, and now we're saying the Rams are back. My point is like, there's just a tier 1. We got to respect it. It's not the same in the AFC right now. There's short list of teams that could beat each other at the top.
Michael Vick and Tony Gonzalez are back. Time now for a big story presented by Hyundai. Let's return to Dallas, where the Eagles got demolished in a showdown with their divisional rival Cowboys last night. Philly got beaten every phase of the game, and Carson Wentz and his worst showing of the year, turning the ball over 3 times just a few days after an anonymous teammate took a shot at him in the media. Wentz talked about how he felt after the loss.
Frustrated, a little embarrassed. You know, we didn't show up. They beat the crap out of us, and we got to be better.
All right, the question in here is, does Carson Wentz take too much blame for the Eagles' struggles?
Shout out to that suit, though. He had that shirt on. He had that shirt on. I have respect for that.
Red on.
Does he take too much blame? No. I think he needs to get touched up a little more. And I'm going to speak for the sentiments of that locker room as I've heard and as I've observed. We talked about it several times, unfortunately, with the same guy who bought the shotguns for everyone at Christmas to say, hey, man, I'm just one of the boys. And from that point forward, teammate after anonymous teammate has called him out to the point where it wasn't so anonymous when we saw him on the field, not even getting pass protected by his own offensive line and watching him get sacked. And more importantly, not even helping him up. This was gangster. Okay, you see your franchise quarterback go down, whatever. Here's what the issue is. I think that a lot of guys are in that locker room right now, and they're saying to themselves, Wentz got the penthouse, but that was a zero-down mortgage. Like, he didn't put enough on this team, this franchise, its successful moments for them to say, this is the guy. So when you got a guy who has durability issues, you got a guy who hasn't been there for your postseason runs, hasn't won a game in January, and then the personality issues and conflicts that they're having inside, it is all being shown when we watch them play inconsistent football. Some call it emotional football. But, yeah, there's something going on there because where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, you're going to take a lot of blame when you fumbling snaps. I mean, that was early in the game. You can't do that as a quarterback and your teammates looking at you like, you know, what just happened? You know, it's no explanation for that. So the quarterback
too much
has
blame? Does he get too much blame?
No, he don't get too much blame. Because, listen, the ball is in his hands every play. And some of them drives when they punting and they fumbling and things aren't going well, then that's understandable. It's going to happen throughout the course of a game. But there are times where you should be able to put drives together when your team needed the most. Yes, it was a 14-point deficit, but we all been down before. You know how it goes on. You down 14 points. You've been part of games where guys have rallied back or your quarterback has put the team on his back. That has to show up sometimes. If it don't show up, then you're going to get all the blame.
Yeah.
And I don't see that as a thing that's, way too much right now for him is very deserving. Motivate him.
Carson Wentz has shown flashes of greatness.
Yes.
Like, I've been really impressed by watching him at times. But like I said about Dak, I don't think Dak is as talented as far as the quarterback, the arm, and all that stuff as Carson Wentz. Not saying I would probably take Dak over Carson Wentz because Dak isn't going to lose me those games. He's going to be that guy in the locker room, like you said. I think with him, yeah, he deserves that blame when you're fumbling snaps as somebody when I'm in that offensive huddle and you're doing stuff that is just, I'm like, come on, man.
I can focus.
You're losing the game for us now.
Yeah.
You're not helping. You might not help us win, but you're losing the game. What kind of throw was that? And teammates can't come out and say that. You know this as players. We can't be honest to the media. If we could, we'd be calling each other up like, why'd you lose the game? Because of him, right there. He can't get a snap, and he can't throw the ball. He threw the ball in triple coverage, and it was whatever it is. You can't say that, but we can watch that from here. And yeah, you're going to get the blame, and there's nothing wrong with that, Carson. If you can go out there and deal with this pressure, then it can make you better. But if you're going to shrink and because somebody's talking anonymously about you and then you go out and play like that too, man, I don't know if you're the guy that I want in my huddle anyway.
I'm going to say two different things. I do think he gets too much of the blame, but I agree with the point Marcellus made. I think the Eagles ownership put him in this position by giving him a contract that he hadn't earned.
Yes.
And again, that's where I think Jerry and the Cowboys are being brilliant. Hey, man, once we give you all this money, there's no telling how the locker room's going to turn or which way it's going to go depending on your play. And so the Eagles gave this guy all this money, and he can't carry a team by itself. I think he gets too much blame because they're an injury-riddled team. He doesn't have the kind of support they need. But you got to be smart enough as an organization. When you start handing out $100 million contracts, you better make sure everybody in that, or a good percentage of that locker room is like, okay, I get that.
Yeah.
When they like, I don't get it, you got a problem.
Yeah, look, I can side with you there in a sense of he's trying to do too much in these situations, whether it's to overcompensate for the personal issues that are going on in that locker room or to the criticism that comes his way. You played in Philly. Obviously, it's louder in Philly than in most markets in terms of that criticism. Going back to what Tony was saying, though, in the NFL, coaches always say more games are lost than won. That means more games we shot ourselves in the foot. We had too many penalties. We had too many turnovers versus we just got outmatched, outclassed. So Carson Wentz finds himself in that situation where he needs to be more responsible in the role that he's placed in. Now, what's that role? This is not Dak Prescott in terms of personality, in terms of him being a part of that culture in the locker room. Dak is beloved. Carson Wentz is on the fence in that respect. And there are two things that, this is no disrespect, but these are highlighted in Carson Wentz in terms of how he presents himself. His religious beliefs, which sometimes can be something that's inclusive for all, or sometimes keeps some guys on the outside. And also something that I had a teammate from North Dakota. We call it Dakota Strong. And if you know what Dakota Strong is, that means, look, I don't have a problem with what you guys are up to. But also, I'm going to be over here, and it's going to seem polarizing. Zach Ertz is his favorite best friend on the team, favorite target, all that. But there's times when if you don't make sure you embrace everyone, and sometimes you have to overtly try that. If you have these combinations in personality where Dak doesn't, and you overpay that same guy who's already kind of been polarized, then you have something like this.
Well, the great equalizer and the ingredient that he's missing is play will make everybody love you, regardless of personality. If he was balling out, he could be a good old boy from North Dakota, run with Zach Ertz, and go to Kenny Chesney concerts every night.
All day.
And no one would care. When you're not balling out and they've given you all that money.
You can still do that. You know what? The killer? If I walked around with the hollow ring, as they call it, the ring that you didn't really win, hey, now we got gas, meat, and fire, and that's the problem.
A part of me feels for Carson because, he got to live up to the contract standard and the play on the field. And you're looking at a guy who watched this team go on a magical run and had to go in that locker room every day in rehab and see guys, not jumping on the Nick Foles bandwagon, but supporting them. And, you know, part of you as a human, you look at those guys, you're like, oh, well, what about me? You can feel that way because I've been a quarterback, a guy who had to take the back seat to a guy and watch him go out and win. It's an awkward feeling. But you have to be real delicate in how you treat guys, you know, within the locker room once that happens. If you standoffish, then guys are going to chirp and they're going to talk about it. But that's where your real leadership show up. And I wonder if that's something that he's dealing with.
$32 million a year, that's what he makes?
Yeah.
He makes $32 million? Yeah, no. You can handle this. The blame, if it stops with you. That's just how it is. You make the most money. Guess what we're going to look
Live
first.
up to it.
But
That's all
this
there
is
is to it.
different. TG, you said they're not like supporting them overtly in terms of Nick Foles. They had a Nick Foles shrine and statue. Shrine and
Inside
statue.
the locker room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Inside the locker room.
It's
shrine.
Really?
They should.
Yeah, the
They
players.
should.
Hey, I'm not,
Yeah, they should.
if that's not saying, now here's the thing that we all been in the locker room for. Okay, you can have all the Nick Foles love in the world, but is that a dagger to me as well?
Yeah,
Like, is that just
yeah,
all
that's what I'm-
pro Nick Foles or anti Carson Wentz?
You can't tell me he doesn't notice that statue and he knows what the locker room is thinking. Nick came in and did something nobody expected. Nicky's a god in that town for the rest of his life. Free meals.
And the other thing is, I mean, just keep it real, man. All 53 guys in that locker room are personal accountants in terms of like, they count, because it's about making money in this league. And it's like, wow, 32 million? And he didn't really do this? We all wearing rings and it wasn't him? And so I think it's unfair. He got injured. I think he takes too much of the blame. The secondary's trash right now. The offensive line's trash right now. But none of them are making 32 million.
Yeah, he got the money.
Hey guys, this is Jason Whitlock from Speak for Yourself. Are you ready for what's ahead? You can't always predict the future, but you can game plan for it. Generations of families and businesses have harnessed the power of Pacific to help them reach their unique goals. Whether you need to save enough money to meet your needs, ensure your family is protected, or make sure you don't run out of money, Pacific Life has a variety of financial solutions that can help. Pacific Life counts more than half of the 100 largest U.S. companies as its clients and has been named one of the 2019 world's most ethical companies by the Ethisphere Institute. Protecting what matters most to people for 150 years and counting? That's the power of Pacific. Ask a financial professional about how Pacific Life can help you game plan for the future or visit pacificlife.com.
Michael Vick and Tony Gonzalez are back. Let's move to Seattle, where Lamar Jackson and the Ravens pulled off a huge win over Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks yesterday. Lamar was once again electric, running the ball for 116 yards, including a crucial fourth down play that resulted in a touchdown. And while Lamar made some nice throws as well, he ended up with just 143 passing yards through the air. All right, the question here is tricky. I'm not letting anybody ride the fence.
Okay.
Were you more impressed by Lamar yesterday, or were you more entertained by Lamar?
Impressed. Certainly impressed. I don't see how you weren't impressed. He went on the road and beat a Seattle team that we were talking about as a Super Bowl contender before he did his thing and worked.
Or were you not entertained?
You said don't get on the fence. Hey, I'm not on the fence, but I can see right there between this thin veil that I'm impressed and entertained, but I start and lead with impressed. I've noticed that the criticism, the naysayers, those who struggle to really accept Lamar Jackson always talk about it's not sustainable. He's going to get hurt. And I love how people always want to predict things. And worse than that is they like to predict things that ain't going to happen. Remember Y2K? You remember 1999 sitting there getting your phone calls? Hey, what you going to do with your computer? What you going to do? What you mean? I'm going to wake up tomorrow and this is going to be life. They are predicting something that is not going to happen. I will say this and say this again. There is hell to pay for anyone who crosses those white lines. And if you're a quarterback, whether you're in the pocket or out the pocket, there is more hell to pay for you at that position as well. So let's stop with the whole predictor of when this is going to come to an end, because last time that I checked, the guy's a winner and he's carrying this team.
I was entertained because he impressed me last year. And to sit back and watch, and this was the first time I had a chance to watch Lamar in detail, and I was in awe. Like, I'm looking at the game like, man, this is what it really looks like. And
watching Mike Vick in the prime, it was.
And just watching the defense that couldn't contain him, couldn't do anything. I was frustrated for the.
This is what I am, bro. Killer.
I was frustrated for the Seattle Seahawks defense yesterday because, look, I'm watching the game as a fan, so I root for both sides. And, you got 3rd and 10, and they're man-to-man coverage, and they turn it back, and Lamar's looking to pass first, to his credit, and then it's a scene that opens up, and he takes off, and I'm like, that's what I used to do. The league is in trouble for a long time. You're going to have to deal with this guy. He's not going anywhere. I was so entertained yesterday. I want to see him again next week and want to see him continue this trend because he's amazing, and he's going to be hard to stop for a long time.
Yeah, I was more impressed yesterday because of the way he handled himself with there was a play where he was looking to get the snap, and the center wouldn't snap it, and he got mad or whatever, and he kind of patted him on the head a little bit, and that impressed me a little bit because this guy, because I've been entertained. I mean, he's entertaining anyway, but I was impressed that he's starting to take onus and starting to take ownership of that team. But at the same time, it's like I know I'm going to be that guy, but if you keep running, because then he started saying, okay, the play's breaking down. He put that team on his back and said, I'm just going to take off every time. You could tell he's dropping back, and for whatever reason, he's taking off right away. And I don't know if I like that too much because I don't know how the longevity of that. It's like the movie Major League. Remember that movie Major League?
Yeah,
Snipes
Major League.
And Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
And Willie Mays Hayes is out there and trying out, and he does one of those Willie Mays hats, and the guy that comes off, and the coach looks at him and says, "Nice freaking catch. Don't ever freaking do it again, though." And I think it's like one of those things where you look at him, it's so impressive. And it's entertaining, but at the same time, you're like, man, I hope he can learn how to control himself because Robert Griffin III, I just always think about that. What if something happens to this kid? Doesn't mean you cannot take away, but I also like Cam Newton, let him be him. Let him go out there and play his game and ride it until the wheels fall off, and hopefully it lasts for a long time.
Yeah. Well, Cam Newton is the guy I was going to go to. And if you remember Cam during his MVP years and early on, that's what this reminded me of, just because I do feel like Lamar at some point yesterday said, damn, I do have Superman's cape on, and I'm about to carry this whole deal. And he did it. And it was like, oh, my God, it was incredible. I was more entertained than impressed because at the end of the day, he made a couple of throws, one on the run early in the game where he hit the dude 50 yards downfield. And I was like, damn, this dude can really throw the ball. And so, but that's why I'm scared because, if Cam couldn't do it for a decade, how can this guy? He doesn't have Cam's body. And then late in the game, there was a play in the final 90 seconds of the game. He ran the ball again, and I thought it was greedy. And I was scared, he's falling in love with this. I've seen RG3 fall in love with it. I saw Cam fall in love with it. I saw Kaepernick fall in love with it. And it's hard to sustain.
It is sustainable if it's designed, if it's something that is a part of your philosophy. Not all the time that you rush are you going to take hell in those tackles. Sometimes you can run out of bounds. Sometimes you can just slide. We saw that happen yesterday. Let's not forget the numbers that against Miami week 1, he only ran 3 times. And he lit them up with his arm. They're playing basketball. Oh, you want to step off me? Yeah. You want to come up here? Going around you. That's what they do. They had other games. KC, only 8 attempts. Cleveland, 9 attempts. He's a hybrid. He is Colin Kaepernick. He's Cam Newton. And he's Russell Wilson with a granddaddy named Mike Vick. This is a modern family new player that is now saying, I'm going to be the result and take the positive attributes of all those. He was 2 for 3 on deep balls for 83 yards. I'm telling you, he literally has the support of a system that says whatever they give us, we're going to exploit. Simple as that. And it could be Miami, you only getting 3 of these rushes. Or it could be yesterday when you see he will just run around you all day. That's what their design is.
This is the thing with the running ability. When you're in your first, second, and third year, you almost feel like a running back. You're so excited and into the game that these hits don't hurt. You bounce off of them, you get back up. You showing the team your bravado. And that's what you are bred to do. But, over time, like you were saying with RG3 and Cam Newton, when it's designed, most of my runs came from me dropping back the pass, looking downfield, and nobody's open or a crease opens up or somebody missed a block. So it wasn't a design run. Cam was the first guy to be in that design run system and warm down. RG3 came in that design run system, wore down. Russell was doing it a little bit, and then they backed off. He became more of a passer. So I think the evolution of him becoming the pocket passer, it probably won't happen, but it has to be more pass heavy down the road as he grows older.
Joining the desk now are Fox Sports NFL analyst Bucky Brooks and TJ Houshmandzadeh. Let's move to Chicago, where Teddy Bridgewater and the Saints got yet another win, dominating the Bears 36-25 in a game that wasn't nearly as close as the final score. Bridgewater has now won 5 straight, but Sean Payton said before the game that he's planning to start Drew Brees this week against the Cardinals, which raised some eyebrows given how well Bridgewater's playing. Going 5-0, completing nearly 70% of his passes, throwing 9 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions with a passer rating over 103. All right, listen, you obviously go back to Drew Brees, but I do it after the bye. I don't do it this week against the Arizona Cardinals. I give Drew more time to get acclimated, have more practice. I think it would be a mistake for the Saints to play Brees this week.
Oh, it would be a mistake, and they're not going to play him, I don't think. I think this is a smokescreen for us. But internally, this is supposed to be activation, Drew Brees, mentally, to get back engaged in the practice week, to get yourself ready. But we have to take advantage of the schedule and the fact that we play the Cardinals, then we have a bye. Then you come back and you got the Falcons and Bucks, all winnable games. So you got to take advantage of that. But this is smart in terms of professionalism. As coaches just always say, it takes forever to get in shape and no time to get out of it. And that's not just physical shape. That's mental shape. Like, rust accrues quickly when you step on the sidelines for a while. That's one. But look at these tornado of incentives, these conflicting interests if you're Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Brees. If you're Teddy Bridgewater, you might want to tap out right now. You don't want a loss to the Cardinals, and then that's the last game you play that undermines the 5 games that you've won. If I'm his agent, that's certainly something I must do, as I'm responsible for telling you all the scenarios. And if I'm Drew Brees, at that age, when everything gets magnified, when you play well, oh my God, he's playing well and he's old. And when you mess up, man, it's almost over for you, Drew Brees. You might want to hurry up and get out there. And I think that's what we're all witnessing.
Yeah, I think this is a situation where the New Orleans Saints have to do what's in the best interest of the team. In my opinion, I believe they should hold out Drew Brees, wait till after the bye week, make sure he's fully healthy and ready to go. I do understand Sean Payton using coach speak to get Drew Brees ready, to let him take the majority of the first team reps, to let him get acclimated to being involved in the offense, to let him continue to feel like, hey, this is my team, this is my show. But Teddy Bridgewater has shown that he can carry this offense. He can run the offense efficiently and effectively. So really, it's a win-win situation for the New Orleans Saints. Get Drew Brees ready. If on game day he's not ready, look, let Teddy Bridgewater do it. But I think it's a situation where ideally you want to wait till after the bye week.
The most logical thing would be to sit him. Now, will they? If he's not 100% healthy, you don't play him. I don't like Drew Brees, you're going to take the first team reps here, Teddy Bridgewater. He can't go, you play. Like, I ain't getting no reps all week. Now you're going to tell me I got to play on Sunday? I don't like that. Now, you can look at it from this. They play the Cardinals. Drew Brees Cardinals, they've been playing well as of late.
Yeah.
But defensively, they're not there. Drew, if he's healthy, he can come back and play and kind of knock the rust off as well. And so you can look at it both ways. Play him, knock the rust off, get the bye week, really mentally check in. Because the Falcons, they're not good, but they can put some points up on you if you let them. The Bucks, the same thing, divisional games. And so I see it both ways. I would be more apt to say, let me play Teddy Bridgewater. Drew Brees, you come back after the bye because I want to make sure you're ready for this run at the end of the season.
Well, having said all that, having listened to everyone talk, I guess I'll play the other side a little bit. I don't want, if I'm Sean Payton or Drew Brees, I don't know if 5-0 is like, hey, Teddy, that's great. 6-0 is like, hey, man, you trying to be a problem? This is my job.
We got a problem here.
And what you don't want is anybody in that locker room, which I don't think is a possibility, But it could be. Those guys are so desperate to win a Super Bowl and avenge what they happened last year that if Drew comes out and is a little bit off, and we're sitting there, man, we went 5-6-0 with Teddy. There are guys will jump ship, and they love Drew Brees, but they want to win.
They won't jump ship, but it'll be in the back of their mind.
No.
They'll be thinking about it.
They'll
for sure.
jump ship.
You think so?
It's a thin line between love and hate. And guess what? Quickly, we saw it in Philly.
It's gonna take a while to jump ship. He's built up so much equity. I don't see that.
Equity with homes that weren't even built when you were building that equity. Think about it. Players who were like, oh, that's cute. I'm glad y'all got y'all Super Bowl. Drew Brees the great. And this is no shot at him. This is just a shot at it. You immediately can lose your status if you're 40 and you throw consecutive interceptions. Somebody gonna sit there and say, Teddy ain't throw that. And we've been there before. We're on the sideline. And we are already comparing this to the Cam Newton situation.
I'm glad you took
I
us
knew
there.
you were going to go there. I'm going to let you finish this. I've heard this, the equivalency, false equivalency, but people say, if Kyle Allen could do it in Carolina, how come Teddy Bridgewater can't do it in New Orleans? I'll let you speak on that.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, this is a team that we thought was going to fall off the wagon when the mighty Drew Brees went to the sideline. Teddy Bridgewater has them undefeated, so maybe the team was a little better than we expected. And then with Teddy Bridgewater, you're looking at the numbers. 9 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, passer rating of 103.7. I mean, my gosh. In Carolina, they're ready to have a parade for Kyle Allen. So why don't why don't the Saints come marching in for Teddy Bridgewater and what he's doing? I mean, I hear it, but look, Drew Brees was playing well when he went to the sideline.
Yes.
However, we saw last year at the end of the season, he doesn't have the ability to push the ball down the field. He has to work with his teammates doing a lot of the stuff. The complementary players, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Tegan, they have to make more plays than they've ever had to elevate the play of the quarterback. So I think this is a scenario not where he's replaced, but I do think the Saints can look ahead and say when Drew Brees walks off, Teddy Bridgewater should be the starting quarterback for the Saints going forward.
Why wouldn't you?
How do they do that?
But why wouldn't you, if you're the Saints, look around, and again, what's the trading deadline's a week away?
Oh,
right?
no. You can,
What?
you trade Teddy?
No.
Why not?
He's our starting quarterback in 2020, 2021, 2022. Like, that's what you look at.
Drew Brees is not going to retire. He wants to play till 45. Drew, again, if I'm trying to win right,
I wanted to see him with
what
the
do the
Jackson.
Bears have
It
to
doesn't
offer?
always happen.
Don't forget, Drew Brees had to go to blows almost to get a lowball deal at 2 years, $50 million. Yeah. Remember that? And now that deal is coming up, and Teddy's sitting there, prime position. And he did this this week, I should say. No Alvin Kamara, no Jared Cook, and you are undefeated and you balling out of control. I'm telling you,
I didn't think he can do it yesterday. When those guys were missing and they're playing Chicago in that defense, I didn't think he would be able to. When I seen Alvin Kamara wasn't going to play, I said, this is going to be the loss they take. He held it down. He did a great job, and he won this game.
The defense is amazing for the Saints.
Yes.
That's what's been carried. No shot at Teddy Bridgewater. But if I'm the Saints, I call Chicago and ask the Bears, like, y'all want to first look at this dude the rest of this season and then sign him at the end of the season? That I try to acquire some more pieces if I don't know what they need, but that draft picks, whatever, I go that route.
Teddy didn't want to leave before to go to Miami. Why did he want to go to
Teddy understands what he has. He has a great situation. He has a great head coach, a scheme that works for him, and he has playmakers around him. And then you talk about the defense balling out of control. If we ultimately are measuring quarterbacks by their ability to win, he knows that he can win in New Orleans.
Bucky Brooks and TJ Houshmandzadeh are back. Let's move to Lambeau Field, where Aaron Rodgers finally looked like his old self yesterday with a monster game in a 42-24 blowout win over the Raiders. Rodgers threw for 429 yards, 5 touchdowns, and even added a touchdown on the ground, tying his career high with 6 total. The Packers are now 6-1 on the year, and after the game, Rodgers said he and Coach Matt LaFleur have been working towards a breakout game like this.
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, I feel like this has been coming. I really do. I feel like we've been building, and I've been feeling a lot more comfortable. And Matt's been feeling more comfortable with, him calling it for me and feeling when I'm in that rhythm and when to be aggressive and when to pull back.
All right, question here is, are you buying the Packers as a Super Bowl threat? I'm not.
You're not?
No.
Oh, I am. One, I didn't think that we would get to this place this fast in terms of teaching the old dog new tricks. Remember last year and all their issues, whether it was injury or not, when on the field, he was calling a third of the plays in terms of audibles and having so much control, but not having success. So for Aaron Rodgers to buy into this level, and it really took him to suppress his own abilities and numbers. He's had one MVP game, as TJ and I were talking about this online, and a possible, like of Aaron Rodgers level. We saw it yesterday, and in a possible, but that was in a loss. Other than that, it's been a suppressed Aaron Rodgers that's allowing this team to blossom. So are they a Super Bowl threat? Yes, because we saw the upside of this offense. Now we need to see the consistency that comes with that high ceiling. In the NFC that we talked about before, that everyone at the top seems like they're beatable. So, yeah, I believe in this offense as it's growing and maturing right before our eyes, and we haven't even seen its limits.
No, I like the way it's trending. I think they're putting together a team that is going to be able to compete against the heavyweights in that conference. Offensively, they're able to run the ball a little more. They're committed to run the ball a little more. Aaron Rodgers is special. The passing game is diverse through the 8 different pass catchers yesterday. I think the big thing that we have to see before we can anoint them as a Super Bowl contender, how do they handle some adversity? At some point, they're going to have a 2-game or a 3-game losing streak. I want to see what does Matt LaFleur do as a new head coach? How does he handle that? How does he navigate through those rough waters? Because if he can navigate through a little adversity, I think that will make him a team that could be feared in the NFC.
Yes, they are a Super Bowl threat. Now, for me, what will make them a Super Bowl contender is if Devontae Adams can come back and be healthy. They're really not a serious threat. They're not going to advance through the playoffs with the receiving core that they have right now. These balls that Aaron Rodgers, you got to try not to catch them. He's putting the balls on the money. So if you got Devontae Adams, a guy that can get open and beat one-on-one coverage consistently, then they're a Super Bowl contender. But I've never had turf toe. They say it's bad. Eric Dickerson has told us it's terrible. But if he can come back healthy, then they're a true threat.
I wasn't impressed yesterday. This game turned when Derek Carr did something stupid, trying to run into the end zone, reach the ball, fumbled it out of the end zone. That changed the game. Yeah. If this game were in Oakland rather than in Lambeau, I think it would have been a very competitive game that the Raiders could have won. They caught the Raiders traveling across country. Not a very good secondary for the Raiders. To me, the best team in the NFC North is the Minnesota Vikings. And they have better personnel all around, better defensive personnel. Kirk Cousins right now playing at a level.
He balled.
Shockingly, he's the highest-rated passer in the league right now.
Balled.
Out of nowhere. And so I don't think they win their division. I'm not even sure if they make the playoffs as a wild card because, and literally, I got a bunch of teams, 3 teams in the NFC West I think are better than them. I think Carolina's better than them. I've already said the Vikings.
You obviously think the Seahawks are better than them.
Yeah, in the NFC West. 3 teams in the NFC West
Rams,
I think
Seahawks,
are better.
49ers.
Yeah, are better than them. And again, I think the Saints are the best team in football. It's nice what they've done. I think they should enjoy it. For now, I don't think it's going to go the long haul.
You made a great point in terms of their travel because they played Chicago. And then, did they stay over for Green Bay or did they go back home to come back? Whatever it is, you're out of sorts. Yeah. Like, that's a difficult task right there for this Raiders bunch. So that's a great point. 2, early in the season, we were talking about how Green Bay's only won 1 Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers when they had a top 10 defense. They have dropped in terms of defensive production all the way down to 26. Now you're starting to
Beginning of the year, it was this defense.
It was the defense. So what is happening with their formula in terms of the variables, and is it going to lean heavy Aaron Rodgers? If so, he's going to need those assets, those undrafted free agent wide receivers to be consistent. Because one thing about the NFL that's interesting, to have a great moment is very difficult. But that's actually easy compared to consistent excellence. So now you flashed, and the D coordinator said, who's that? Who's that again? And now we're going to start to clamp down. Where's this offense go when those names are not no names anymore?
The one thing you talked about that is really a concern, the defense. And it's not about the yards and the thing. I think the scoring defense, since week 4, the defense has given up 26 points per game. That's tied for 9th most in the National Football League. If they're going to win and make a legitimate run at a Super Bowl, the defense is going to have to bring that number down. Typically, in defensive rooms, we talk about 20 21 points. If it's sub 20, it'll give you an opportunity for your offense to win the majority of games in the National Football League. Mike Pettin has to continue to work on this defense to make sure they can stop the run, but more importantly, they can keep the score down, not allow people to score sevens, make them kick field goals.
Look, I think the Packers, 6 of their last 9 games are on the road. Their schedule's going to toughen up. It toughens up this week, but they've caught a break. They play the Chiefs, no Patrick Mahomes. They've caught a huge break. Having said that, as we talked about earlier in the show, this year, the great coaches are showing you, hey, even with my backup quarterback, I can figure out a way to win and to be competitive. It's going to be on Andy Reid this week with Matt Moore. Will he be able to figure out a way to keep pace with Aaron Rodgers? Chiefs defense played lights out. Just a while. They're going to have to do it again.
But they wasn't playing against a good offense. That'll help.
Denver.
Well, and just keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers, those wide receivers, that's not a great offense. That's Aaron Rodgers.
For me, is the only drawback right now with the Packers is, and it sucks because I was once one of those guys that the Packers is putting out there at receiver. I mean, you have to prove yourself. You got to do it yesterday, and you got to do it next Sunday, and then the following Sunday, and so you can establish your name and identity in the league. And until they do that, it's going to be a question mark of what do they have. Jimmy Graham, I watched him a couple weeks ago. He can't really get open like he did with Drew Brees when he was with the Saints. And so they need Devontae Adams back. If they get him, they got something. Other than that, Rodgers is going to have to be LeBron James every game and just win the game for him.
Every time I watch Jimmy Graham now, I have to say it because I was thinking it yesterday. I was like, this is not appropriate to be professional on TV, but damn it, I got to say it. Ain't nobody happier that you can't touch the goalpost after scoring anymore than Jimmy Graham. He don't look like he even get up there anymore. I like this dude. He be doing his little
jelly roll.
He happy because I don't think he got the burst no more, man. He look a lot different, just saying.
Bucky Brooks and TJ Houshmandzadeh are back. Let's move to Monday Night Football.
Do it.
Where the Jets host the Patriots in an AFC East showdown tonight. Tom Brady has owned the Jets in his career with a 28-6 record all time. But after getting Sam Darnold back and embarrassing the Cowboys last week, the Jets have some people believing they could start to turn their season around and maybe even pull off the upset tonight. I'm one of those people. No Josh Gordon. Tom Brady's going to be – Julian Edelman's a little beat up. I think the Jets, which are playing at home, I think the Patriots – look, and I've told y'all, I got a bias against the Patriots. I always root against them. So maybe this is a little bit with my heart. But I think Sam Darnold and the Jets get it done tonight, and they certainly cover the 9.5, 8.5 points, whatever.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I knew something was motivating you to say this.
It's covered.
Ignorance. It's covered. Whitlock, they played before, you know that, right? Week 3. How'd that go?
Was Sam Darnold there?
Even better. So Belichick didn't get a chance, see Sam Darnold, I guess. The mono, respect. How is Bill Belichick against first and second year quarterbacks? He's faced 18 of them. Well, let's just guess what his record is, y'all. 18-0. Ain't no
Not to be 18-1.
Not a young quarterback ever's gonna talk to Bill Belichick that way. Week 3 win over the Jets, they ain't even allow a third down conversion. Huh?
Did you see Luke Falk and whoever else? Luke and Laura from General Hospital was out there.
And I got one more good little nugget for you, too. This is crazy. Other than being, I just said 0-12 on third down, they are allowing 8 points a game. 8. That means go for 2, because that's it, bro. You score, go for 2, that's it. Since 1944, we haven't seen the defense do that. And you know who was playing in 1944? Me either. That's
Bronco University.
Exactly. There is no way. I will bet you everything I know and love, there's no way that the Jets can beat the Patriots tonight. Just that simple.
I'll accept your apology tomorrow.
Oh, man, that's funny. Now, this is a game where the Patriots will dominate, and we know that the Patriots will change and morph their style based on what the weakness of the opponent is. The one thing that we know about the Jets, Greg Williams wants to bring pressure, but he's typically been unable to stop the run. That means if I'm going to go big, if this was fantasy, man, go all in on James White and Sony Michel. The Patriots are going to run the ball. You can see them play old school football. They're not going to open it up so Tom Brady can get hit. This is going to be a smash mouth game. Look for them to kind of grind
Sounds
it out.
kind of low scoring to me then, Bucky.
It might be low scoring, but it doesn't mean
Remember the
the other
Bills
team.
game?
Ah,
Remember the Bills game?
There you go.
Do I think the Jets can upset the Patriots? They have a chance. They have a chance with Sam Darnold. They're getting their guys back defensively. C.J. Mosley will be back. But what I look at it is the little success that coaches have had against the Patriots in the division. Adam Gase has had some success against the Patriots. And it's not much because the Patriots dominate that division. When he was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, he won 2 games against them, put up 20 points. This is a better team that he has with the Jets that he ever had in Miami. He has a better quarterback, a far better defense. And so can they upset them? Yeah, they'll have to play perfect. Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. They don't have that receiver, but I actually like Robbie Anderson. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's nice.
So Jamison Crowder, he can play. They got some pieces.
Yeah.
If they can avoid the turnovers, Tom Brady has lost 4 of his last 10 in the Meadowlands, they got a chance.
Yeah, you know why they got a chance? Because, like, what you say, you like Robbie, huh? He's nice, huh? He all right? Not against Stephon Gilmore. You want to hear these numbers? Good Lord. He is good to almost great at times. You see flashes from Anderson. But doesn't work as well against him. No touchdowns in 7 games, 169 yards.
Who's throwing him the ball, though? You got to look at who's throwing the ball.
He could grab Tom Brady and say, you got to play both sides. And still, Stephon Gilmore guarding him. It's a problem.
Y'all giving him too much credit.
Who, Gilmore?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
He has not allowed a touchdown this year, 48 passer rating.
When you got a quarterback that can really get you the ball, you're not getting strapped like that by nobody. Nobody.
That's a lot of TJ confidence that you're trying to make osmosis occur and just give it to everybody, but it doesn't work that way in the NFL. Stephon Gilmore is a shutdown corner, just silent because of culture and the way he presents himself. But by the numbers, nobody's doing it better than Stephon Gilmore in terms of consistency.
Facts over feelings?
Facts over feelings, dog. This dude is a monster, but he doesn't get the love.
Look, the Buffalo game was a 1-score game. The Patriots couldn't put them away. When the Patriots face a good defense, I don't think this is a great Patriots offense, and particularly with no Josh Gordon, Antonio Brown, he's been dusted, Julian Edelman's banged up. I don't look for the Patriots to score a lot of points. If the Jets get to 20, that's how I think they win this game. And if they get to 20, they certainly cover the 8.5, 9.5 point spread. Depending on where it's at. I'm just keeping it real.
How are they going to cover when they can't score? You do know that the Patriots defense, they're not giving up touchdowns.
8 points.
So who is going to score for the Jets?
Don't look at the schedule.
That is true.
The Patriots ain't beating up the good offensive teams. They played nobody.
Who is the explosive player on the Jets? We got Le'Veon Bell.
Sam Darnold.
Robbie Anderson. He had 125 last week.
He can run.
Yeah, he had 125 last week, but then you know he ain't sleeping. And Stephon Gilmore is sitting in that limo.
But
there's a limo coming for you, Robbie.
He should welcome this. He should welcome this. It's Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Everybody think I'm going to get strapped. Let me really make a name for myself right now. He defensively, like you said with Greg Williams, they got a chance, man.
But this is not the same defense as Buffalo. I like the comparison. Keep it low scoring. That's the best way to beat them. But Buffalo's defense is 3rd ranked. This is 16th ranked. So now you got an average
C.J. Mosley's been out.
No.
True.
And just remember, having Luke Falk as your quarterback means a lot of 3-and-outs and putting your defense
More
back out on the field. Putting your defense back. So I just don't think you can't judge this defense by the rankings. Now that Sam Darnold, let's see what the defense looks like with Sam Darnold out there converting some 3rd downs and prolonging drives. Hey,
that's the gambling look.
You got a mortgage to pay. America, you got a mortgage to pay.
I got money on this.
Take them 8.5 points. Take them 8.5 points.
I got money on this.
All right, Darnell.
I got money.
Did anyone win the Super Bowl, the Super 6 this week?
Actually, someone did, man. Huge shout out to my man Luis down in Houston, Texas, who got all 6 out of 6 picks correct. Took home $250,000 of Terry Bradshaw's money. So be sure to download the Fox Sports Super 6 app and play for free for a chance to win next Sunday.
You know he's going to the Galleria. He's spending all that today.
One of the treasures is where he's going. Coming up. Uncle Jimmy's here to help us talk about our approval ratings for Dak Prescott.
No?
Wow. First,
in the name of Jesus.
Wow.
Go ahead and give Marcellus the Big Dummy of the Day award.
Well, first of all, Big Dummy go to whoever gave out my phone number to somebody over the weekend.
That dude.
In Muncie, Indiana. Let me tell you something, bro. You know what the rules are. What? If you let Uncle Jimmy come through the back door, she ain't coming back no more. That's a dummy for you.
Well,
she come knocking on my door. It's my duty to give her what she came here for. That's an old Houdini line right there.
Man, you ain't lying.
Yeah, she said she could compete with the blue M&M. So anyway, all right,
she
let's
better
talk
pick up her weight.
Let's talk some Dak Prescott.
Strong.
Cowboys took over first place in the NFC East.
Get in there.
Where they win
God
over
is
the
good.
Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 1 game back with the Giants and Redskins way behind. Marcellus.
Yes, sir.
Cowboys lock. Are they a lock to win the division last?
Yeah, I think so, because the only team that's really going to give them any pressure is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles, and let's just be realistic. They own the Philadelphia Eagles, so Dallas Cowboys, even though they have to handle business week in, week out, their expectations are to go deep in the playoffs. They should not change that. They should look forward to this team really doing some great things in the playoffs.
Yeah, 9-7 is going to win this division, and the Cowboys will probably get there first.
Yep.
But 9-7, Uncle Jimmy, as I said earlier in the show, that doesn't get Dak Prescott paid. Not astronomical money. But anyway.
Eli did that and won the Super Bowl.
Uncle Jimmy, you have any thoughts?
Yes, I do. First of all, my brothers, I would like to say that I come before you with humble beginnings.
Yes.
I would like to say that I have asked to come here to speak on behalf of Dak Prescott. He is an African-American quarterback of predominantly minority descent who just happens to play professional sports for the Dallas Cowboy footballs.
Yes.
And last night, what we witnessed a mollywhopping, or shall I say a beatdown, of biblical prostitutions for all to behold.
Proportions.
Listen, please, my brothers, my sisters, I ask of you, please look not to the scoreboard. I ask that you look closely to the paychecks that were handed out last night. I have it from a very, very reliable source that Carson Wentz, a white quarterback, made $27 million last night, and he was on the losing end of the mollywop.
That is accurate.
Now, on the other hand, the brother, Dak Prescott, who was the winner, mind you, walked away with just a measly $350. After taxes. Look here, let me tell you something. I want to say that I have done my volunteer work, and I have stood firmly with the anti-apartheid movement. Based off of those words alone, I would like to say that we have participated in a successful hot girl summer. And we cannot wait for Big Girl Fall to begin. Now, back to where I was.
Yes.
Tell me something, Darkness. Do you still believe that Dak deserves $1 more than Carson Wentz?
More than $1 now, but yes, certainly more than that.
So if this is true, tell me something, Darkness. Do you not believe that Uncle Jimmy deserves $1 more than Colin Cowherd?
I knew you were going to say so. That's why he
Tell me something. Have you ever seen Colin Cowherd come out here dressed like this? Has he ever came out dressed like Doc Brooks and sang you a song? So I say to you, my brothers, you must look and behold. Dak Prescott and Uncle Jimmy, we are the same. Both are working under a rookie contract. Both are overplayed and underpaid. Dak has all types of high-priced ponies all around him. Jason is the biggest man in sports. You, Darkness, are the most overpaid. Look at what I'm trying to say to my brothers. If you just open your eyes. If all pork chops were perfect, there'd be no need for hot dogs. And it is for this I rest my case.
All right, I'm moving Dak up to a 66 role player. I moved him up 7 points in job performance.
I'm starting to GoFundMe for Uncle Jimmy, man. It's about that time, man. It's starting to really tug at my heartstrings. I had him at a role player. I'm right with you, man.
I'm about to start a Go Feed Me. Damn, some fun me, feed me.
All right, the internet has him at all-star.